They used to call me Sunshine because I was always laughing or joking. The person that I was, she's been dead for a long time.
My vocation is to help people. My vocation is to bring people up. I could not live here 32 years if I didn't feel the goodness of the people.
Carcinogens coming from these facilities. You committed to take action, further action on lead. You're doing that today.
I remember asking friends, did you grow up feeling like your neighborhood was yours, like you had a responsibility to your neighborhood?
Hi, my name is Mark Lopez. This is my daughter Luna and my daughter Cholet. We want Exide shut down.
Residents demanded that a controversial battery recycling plant be shut down.
Yeah, they claim Exide is contaminating the air and the ground.
Despite some improvements here at the plant, Exide has been caught once again spewing too much lead into the air.
People in Los Angeles have dealt with industrial pollution for years. Many neighborhoods on the city's east side are within a few miles of large factories that can release dangerous pollutants. For years, residents have fought air pollution from Exide Technologies, a lead-acid battery smelter that melts down used car batteries. The plant has operated in Vernon since 1922, and Exide took over the facility in 2000. Government emissions records reveal that Exide continually spewed cancer-causing arsenic as well as lead, a powerful poison that can damage the brain and cause learning disabilities, developmental problems, and lower IQs. Young children are most at risk, especially when playing outside where there's lead dust in the soil. Over 2 decades, the facility has racked up nearly 90 hazardous waste violations and has been cited over and over for emitting too much toxic air pollution. Exide declined to comment for this video.
Exide knew that they were polluting. Exide knew that they were putting arsenic and lead into our air. Fill up all the places, okay? See those spots right there? There you go.
There's more people coming.
Okay, that's fine. They can sit right here, okay? This expression, serial polluters, it describes Exide. Why should Exide, a serial polluter, be given the right of a permit?
You know, Father, there is no such thing as environmental justice. Not for our people anyway.
Who's protecting us?
This has been my theme, protect the health and well-being of the people. And when they don't do that, they have to be called to task, and this is what's happening right now. They don't teach you about these things in the seminary, you know. There's no course to say that you're going to be out there and you're going to be in a community that's going to be neglected and be abused. You know, they don't teach that. But that's our mandate. We are responsible for the well-being of people, and so if you see somebody getting sick, you have to do something about it. You cannot just remain quiet.
I thought I was doing good. I thought I was being a good mother because I wanted them outside running around playing and being creative and healthy.
I'm going to kick your butt on this game here. Oh, you're going to lose. Oh, no.
I can't tell you how guilty I felt that I, although unknowingly, sent my kids to play out in toxic chemicals. I now look at every dust particle, you know, all dirt as, well, it is, basically, it's contaminated.
The California standard for lead in residential soil is 80 parts per million. Soil with lead above 1,000 parts per million is considered hazardous waste. In 2008, lead levels in the soil surrounding Exide were found to be 50 times the hazardous waste limit. In 2013, a report by air quality officials found that Exide's arsenic emissions posed a cancer risk to more than 100,000 people. The state tried to shut down the plant, but the company appealed in court, and a judge allowed it to reopen. It wasn't until later that year that state officials forced Exide to begin testing homes for lead contamination and pay for blood lead tests for residents. The following year, soil tests revealed lead pollution in neighborhoods, and health precautions were issued to the public. Terry's brother, Joe, was diagnosed with melanoma in 2014. Terry and both of her kids are also sick. Although no concrete link has been established, she thinks their asthma and learning disabilities are linked to Exide.
In the beginning, I was afraid, and now I'm just frustrated, angry, and absolutely disappointed. You would think that priority one would be the residents and their health. They still allow them to operate even after fighting contamination.
Well, it's official. The Exide battery recycling plant in Vernon is closing down in a deal made with the Justice Department.
Late last night, my office finalized an agreement that will close the battery plant and will ensure that it never reopens.
Illegal disposal of hazardous waste to the ground at the facility. Illegal storage of hazardous waste at the facility. Illegal transportation of hazardous waste through the neighborhoods, on the state's highways, and illegal transportation of hazardous waste to an unpermitted facility. And believe it or not, they admitted to doing that for at least 2 decades.
The agreement also calls for Exide to pay approximately $50 million to pay the cost of removing the facility, paying for the cleanup, and remediating the surrounding communities.
Monsignor John Moretta, a tireless advocate for the people of the surrounding community, puts it this way.
For our southeast Los Angeles, this is a breath of really fresh air.
Years ago, we were fighting Exide. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, last year, last month, last week, yesterday, we were fighting Exide. We were fighting Exide to make sure that our babies that are here, my own daughters that just turned 1 and 3, don't have to fight Exide in 20 years. That's why we fought Exide, because we know the damage that they've caused here in our communities. And now that Exide's down, it's DTSC's turn. DTSC is the government agency that has failed us for years, failed to protect us, allowed Exide to do what it's done to our community.
In 2012, we first acknowledged that our efforts to carry out our mission have sometimes been compromised by deficiencies in our technical processes and in our administrative processes as well. Those problems certainly do impact our efficiency, our effectiveness, and our credibility.
The California Department of Toxic Substances Control was created in the 1980s to enforce hazardous waste laws and protect people and the environment from toxic chemicals. In recent years, the DTSC has been under fire from community activists, local officials, and state lawmakers for many problems, including lax oversight and enforcement of hazardous waste operations. Exide is a prime example. The state issued only 7 fines for dozens of hazardous waste violations over 15 years, while letting the facility operate without a full permit for 3 decades. The DTSC has shuffled through multiple directors. The current director, Barbara Lee, started at the end of 2014 and inherited the job of closing the plant and making amends to the community.
I want to underscore for you that I will continue and complete the systematic improvements that are already underway. Many of you are very angry, and many of you have been harmed in a variety of ways. And I know that you feel that the department failed you. The department needed to act sooner, and we didn't, and I'm very sorry for that. For too many years, we did not listen well to you. I am here to listen to you today, and I hope you will be ready to take just one more step forward with us.
At this time, what we'd like to do is open it up for a dialogue. We ask that you really try to make comments that are constructive, okay?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Modesta Carranza. Yo quiero saber quién va a pagar los biles médicos. ¿Es la responsabilidad de los padres?
And I want to know, that's what I want to know. I want to know who's going to pay for the medical bills. Is the parents' responsibility?
O supuestamente es responsabilidad de la compañía de Exide.
Or supposedly it's the responsibility of the Exide company.
I don't have an answer today about the funding for the health care. It was something I wanted to try to secure funding for, and I wasn't able to do it. But I haven't given up to see if there's a way we can do it.
Exide admitted to 2 decades of criminal conduct. Who specifically allowed for this to happen? At what point could this have been stopped? And who made those decisions? Where are they at? And so I want to ask if you're open to opening up the department to a criminal investigation, because we understand you're not responsible for what happened in the past. You're responsible moving forward. So we want to know who's responsible for everything that has happened to us up to this point.
Mark, I don't have an answer for you about who's responsible for everything that happened. You know, it's looking at the record. There are things I can't explain, and the people who could explain them are no longer with the department. I think there were people who didn't act fast enough. They didn't do their job to the standard they should have done their job to. I don't think it's criminal. I think it's tragic for all of us. What I'm trying to do now is make sure going forward, everyone working for me is doing their job and doing it well.
We're not just going to move on. Okay, cool. Let's keep going with our lives. This history that we're currently living with, we're going to continue to live with. This is part of our community story. So I would like to see justice within the department be part of this story.
Okay, I hear you. Are you willing to let me think about what I can do?
the urgency that we have to resolve these issues, a lot of times it looks like frustration because it's coming from a place of love for our families. That's really where it's coming from. We don't see that coming from agencies. We don't see that sense of urgency because this isn't where they stay. This isn't their families. We're not ready to move on until the issue is resolved.
Back in 2013, the DTSC ordered Exide to begin testing the soil in nearby homes, starting with 2 small areas closest to the plant. They later expanded testing to a wider area. Around 160 homes were tested by the spring of 2015, and 76 were cleaned up. Some residents, including Terry, still don't know the results of their lead testing.
Do you know how extremely nerve-wracking that is to have your soil sampled and to be as sick as all of our family is, and we don't know how bad our soil is? That it's torture.
Results are in from soil samples taken from neighborhoods near the now closed Exide battery recycling plant in Vernon.
The Department of Toxic Substance Control found that 1/3 of the samples tested were within the safe level, but 2/3 were above that, including Terry Cano's, whose soil tested above 1,000 parts per million. A healthy level is below 100.
A lot of the homes, or the majority of the homes, were tested at over 80 parts per million. Can you tell me what are some of the signs and symptoms and effects of long-term, low-level exposure?
When it comes to soil, California, generally leads the country in trying to make sure that we have the most health protective levels when we're dealing with lead exposure. But it doesn't mean that if you've got 85, or if you've got 100, or even if you have 101 or something like that, that we're too worried that you're going to have a major health problem.
My levels were in the thousands.
Your blood levels were in the thousands?
No, our soil sample levels were in the thousands. So are you saying that we really shouldn't be concerned about that? And that we can be living with no symptoms whatsoever?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I'd say, like I said, when your soil levels are, like 100, then no, I wouldn't be that concerned. If they're in the thousands, yes, that does need to be addressed. We would consider that a priority.
So what symptoms and illnesses and ailments should we be looking for instead of dismissing?
Well, it all depends again on what your exposure is. So you can live around 1,000 and have a 0 blood lead level, or you could live around 1,000 and you could have a high blood lead level. Now, when it comes to the symptoms, they're very different from person to person. Lead is a very, very silent poison. People don't really have a lot of symptoms before they develop very high lead levels. If your child does have symptoms, your child could have problems with learning, problems with memory, problems with behavior. Some people even develop high blood pressure from lead. Now, when you think about all those things, I can also give you 206 other reasons why all those things can happen. So they're not specific to lead. It's not like lead causes one particular problem that nothing else causes. So that's where the difficulty is.
So not a totally reassuring answer, but did you feel like you were able to get the answer? Yes?
I still have other questions, so I guess I'll wait.
All right, so let's go. Thank you. We'll come back to you.
Every community meeting that we have, same words. Same words, same questions go unanswered. We're a dumping ground. In our mind, we know what's caused our illnesses. My whole family's been living a nightmare.
Under the closing agreement struck with the federal government, Exide was not required to reimburse people who say the pollution made them sick. Multiple residents, including Terry, have filed lawsuits seeking damages. Although her soil levels are far above health standards, Terry's yard has yet to be cleaned.
We've been out there in the fight for a long time. And it isn't just a fight over politics, it isn't a fight over money, it's a fight over people's lives. I look forward to it being a new day for the DTSC and a new day for our community. but we will be watching.
In August 2015, Barbara Lee announced a shocking new development.
We have preliminarily estimated the number of residential properties potentially affected could be 5,000 to 6,000 or as high as 9,000 to 10,000.
The lead removal would be the largest cleanup of its kind in California, and it could end up costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Despite demands from county supervisors and community groups, there is no state investigation of the DTSC and what went wrong at Exide.
We're not polar bears, we're not whales or dolphins or trees. You know, we're not cute little penguins. No one's coming to save us. We need to fight for ourselves.
As long as they comply with the federal agreement, Exide avoids any criminal charges.